We had a shorter transition time than usual, so some of you are still pretty lively up there and down here. Did you say louder? Louder? Okay. The one thing Roger always complimented me on, he said, "You know how to speak into the mic. Some people you can't hear, and I just don't like that. But you go and you take control of that mic." So if ever I don't take control of the mic, you just let me know. I'm only going to, actually, there's not an announcement. We can immediately start with the introduction to the next movie. That's great. So I don't have anything to read from here. All I have to do is tell you that the next movie is called In the Family. It's going to be introduced by Michael Barker, who is the co-president of Sony Pictures Classics. And after the movie, we will have Patrick Wang, the director of the movie and an actor in the movie. And, you know, it's like the year that we had the volcanic ash from Iceland or something. The weather has prevented Trevor St. John, one of the other actors, from being with us today. But we will have as a panelist Kevin Lee, a film critic and a producer of over 100 video essays on film and TV, and the founding editor and chief video essayist at Fandor.com. So right now, let's talk about the movie with Michael Barker.
Hi. Okay. This is a movie that was made for Ebertfest. First of all, the way I discovered this movie was by reading a review by Roger. It was actually a movie that had already had its first release in New York. It came back into New York later, which we'll talk about after the film. And Roger wrote this review, and I had to see it, and I went to see this film when it was reopened in New York, and I saw it 3 times. Not in a row. If ever there was a movie, I've never said this before a movie, even though it's important to say it. This is one movie. Everybody turn off your cell phones, close the laptops, do whatever it is, get rid of it. Because, first of all, it's a long movie. But it's one of those rare films where you see reality in a way we don't see a lot in films anymore. One of the great international filmmakers of all times is Yasuhiro Ozu. And when I was a young guy, I would always run away from his films because people would say, oh, they're really slow and nothing happens. And I was into, you know, Bullitt and Romeo and Juliet and stuff like that. And eventually, as I got older, I started watching these Ozu films. And I realized, even though the pace is not cut really quickly, and scenes play themselves out to where a scene starts when a guy enters a room till the time the guy leaves the room. Somehow, when you watch it, it's a kind of reality you buy that's more real than what you would see normally in films, yet it's still a fictional film, but the subtext, what's going on underneath, is as melodramatic and as soap opera-ish and as exciting as any kind of action-packed films. This is one of those kinds of movies. A word about the gentleman behind the film. His name is Patrick Wang. I met him for the first time last night. He produced the film, he directed the film, he wrote the film, and he acts in almost every scene of the film. And big risks are being taken in this film. I don't want to tell you a lot about the film. We'll talk about it afterwards. But I think it will move you. I do want to mention one actor in the film. When I moved to New York in 1977, I went to the theater a lot, and there was an actor, his name is Brian Murray, that I would see in the theater for decades. And he's one of our great stage actors. Even though he comes from Ireland, he's an American. And he, in this movie, is staggering. And it's the kind of seamless performance that never gets Academy Awards because it's so good, you just don't believe the guy is acting. And he plays a lawyer in the film. And it's a Southern character that is very rarely depicted in films. But it is a character that exists throughout the South in many towns and cities. And what this director does is allows that character to breathe, for us to get to know him. It's the same with all the characters in the movie. We're allowed to get to know them with patience. So we'll be afterwards with the director and enjoy the film.